Hello guys, and welcome to yet another video. That beeping noise, I can't do anything about it. It's my fire alarm or my smoke alarm. I've had this problem for quite a while now. It was fixed, but I can't fix it at the moment, so I'm not going to bother to edit out the beeps because they come every minute or so, sometimes quicker than that. But welcome to another video. As the title suggests, this is a real mixed bag. I will start by alluding to an entry I removed from the timeline. I won't go into too much detail about it, but it was an entry from over a decade ago. Last year, just over a year ago, I received an email, apparently from a lawyer, demanding I remove this guy's name. And as some of you may know, those who know me, I've always said there were two types of people in this world: those who respond to threats and those who respond to kindness. I happen to be in the latter category, as I've demonstrated before. I've removed things from the timeline. One was a guy who threatened me, and then he modified. I don't know if he apologised, but he moderated his demands, and then they became pleadings rather than demands, and I obliged him. It wasn't him. It was his sister who'd falsely accused somebody of rape. Anyway, I had this email demanding I remove this guy's name. It was from a lawyer, well, somebody who has a law degree. I've no doubt about that because I've looked her up. She claimed to be this guy's wife. She has a different surname, but I've no reason to dispute her claim. She's English isn't her first language, but she speaks very good English. No, she doesn't appear to know what the word didn't appear to know what the word redaction meant. Strange thing for a lawyer, but she's an academic. She was messing me about, and in the end, I said, look, send me £25. I'll redact his name, or it stays. And she sent me 25 quid by PayPal. I redacted his name from the article and his photograph. On May the 14th, his name came up on a Google alert. She told me that he was on remand, but she didn't say what for. I assumed it was something to do with, well, it had, I don't identify this creep, but he had problems before for an injury, let me put it that way, which may have, I assumed it was some violent offence, being involved in a fracas or something. Anyway, he's been convicted of sexual assaults on two teenage girls, overage teenage girls, at out clubbing, and it's, I say sexual assault including rape, and he's been convicted. I mean, so I've removed his entry from the timeline. I don't like people making a mug of me, I really don't. So I'm assuming that he got a lucky verdict the first time, the benefit of the doubt, whatever. What does amaze me is these women, I mean, there are women like that who marry rapists. And she must, I presume she's still married to him. If she doesn't divorce him now, I don't know. I mean, just the women, these women are sicker than the men who commit these crimes. They really are. Anyway, I've removed his name for the time. I'm not going to mention him. I'm not going to. I don't want his name to cross my lips again. And as for her, well, yeah, she's made her bed, she can lie on it. This is Harvey Weinstein and some of his victims. I found this a few years ago. As I've said before, Gwyneth Paltrow turned him down. I think Kate Beckinsale did as well. Asia Argento claimed he raped her. Seriously? In the last hangout, I played part of a clip after the Weinstein appeal verdict, and this absolutely ugly woman she alluded to, I said it'd be cool, but she's so ugly. She alluded to our Anita Hill moment. I will expand on that. I didn't give it the full. What happened was in 1991, Clarence Thomas was nominated for the Supreme Court of the United States. He's still there now. 33 years later. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun. And the Democrats, scum that they are, and they're really total scum now, absolutely total scum. All of them, well, almost all of them. They're destroying America, but that's another story. They wanted to stop him taking his seat, so they dug up dirt on him. They found this woman, Anita Hill, who'd worked under him, and they brought her in to make allegations again. There was no rape allegations or sexual assault, even any touching. It was all what we call sexual harassment. And they brought in 4 other women who made similar allegations, backed her up. But the Republicans brought in 4 women who said the exact opposite. And it was absolutely outrageous. And I'll just play a short clip of what Thomas said, and I've no doubt that it was quite a long address. He said basically, if you don't nominate me, I'm not that bothered, because I'm not going to submit myself to a proctologist's examination. Anyway, this is what he said.
This is a circus. It's a national disgrace. It is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, you will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
Thomas interpreted that as a racial issue. It's not racial, it's the fact that he's a Republican. They hate black Republicans more than they hate white Republicans. The guy you may recognise on the committee there was Joe Biden. I'm not sure if Joe Biden can recognise Joe Biden at the moment. Now, I've closed the doors, so hopefully the beeping won't be quite so loud. Anyway, there wasn't a racial thing, but what Thomas went through was, nothing compared to the way they treated Brett Kavanaugh. Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. The lies. I'll put a link to the Kavanaugh, the Kavanaugh entry on the timeline below. So you can look up the full hearings, the testimony of Anita Hill, the innuendo she accused him of making. A few years ago, some woman told some other woman that she'd been at a party in 1999 and she'd been groped by Thomas. I don't believe that either. These women are just utterly pathetic. Right, let's go on to something contemporaneous. I have a feeling, I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling we could be looking at another witch hunt. This time of David Copperfield, the magician. If you're not familiar with him, he's one of the greatest magicians of all time. You'll find him on YouTube, and I think he's about 67 now, same age as me. I've seen this in 2 or 3 places, but I'll read here from The Guardian. This is a typical smear. This is from the web edition of The Guardian, May 17th. The FBI investigated David Copperfield for 2, it ends there, but I presume it's 2 years. I'm reading from Newsbank. Lacey Carroll headed straight to Harbour View Medical Centre after touching down in Seattle following a 3-day stay on David Copperfield's private island in the Bahamas. It was August 2007 and, according to police records, she had gone to get medical treatment for sexual assault. This was Lacey Carroll, very attractive but toxic. The 20-year-old later alleged to Seattle police said in court filings she'd been embarked on a long journey to Musha Cay, the islands in the Bahamas that Copperfield reportedly bought for $50 million in 2006. That's the power of magic for you. Because she'd been offered a chance to do promotional work and some modelling there, along with a team of others. Instead, she claimed she found herself alone with Copperfield and a few members of his staff. Copperfield, she alleged, raped and assaulted him multiple times. And it says here, Carroll's allegations in 2007 set off an FBI investigation and created a media storm around Copperfield. Well, I don't remember that much of a media storm. More than 2 years later, the FBI dropped the matter with little explanation. No charges were filed. Little explanation. Little explanation. Seriously? I'll put a link to the Copperfield page on the timeline. He set up a website about it. It's called David Copperfield Sets the Record Straight.com. It's a single page, but it's got links to all sorts of it's got excerpts of other articles here. And there's one here from January 2nd, 2010. Los Angeles, California, CNN. A Seattle, Washington woman who accused illusionist David Copperfield of sexually assaulting her more than 2 years ago is now being charged with prostitution and making a false allegation in another case, according to Copperfield's attorney and Washington state officials. And indeed, that's true. It's in Bellevue, Washington. So there's a lot of detail here. But she's probably a serial false accuser, double false accuser anyway. So this is garbage. An investigation by the Guardian US has re-examined Carroll's claims and the depiction of the case in the media. As part of its broader investigation, its allegations of sexual misconduct by the master illusionist. Lawyers for the illusionist have denied all allegations. This is, they get these hags come forward, these gold diggers and these fantasies, and they assume that because of a lot of them, they would have the public assume because of a lot of them, there must be some truth to it. I'll put a link also to a video I did about trawling. It's called How the Police Convict People of Imaginary Crimes. The prevalent public perception at the time was that Carroll had ultimately been discredited after being charged with a crime in an unrelated matter. Some 2010 media reports noted the FBI had dropped its years-long investigation at the same time, suggesting a link. But the Guardian's reporting found this narrative was inaccurate. Copperfield said in an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2012 that he had been exonerated by federal authorities. A source close to the federal investigation said in connection to the case, declining to charge someone is not equivalent to exonerating someone or declaring them innocent. What source was that? What source? Did this person exist? And the alleged assault on Musha Cay, Carroll's first interactions with David Copperfield, bore many of the hallmarks of the accounts of other young women who made sexual misconduct allegations against the celebrity illusionist. Carroll went entertained at one of his shows at a venue in Tri-Cities, Washington in January 2007. According to a civil case Carroll filed in Washington State, 2009, Copperfield called her on stage to assist her in one of his tricks. Ah, yes, civil case. We mentioned that, do we? Okay, let's go back to the Copperfield page. On July 29, 2009, Carroll brings a civil suit against him, then drops it. Why did she do that? According to the lawsuit, one of Copperfield's assistants told Carroll, the magician, had a private island that she might be asked to participate in promotional activities there. Well, is this private island a secret? The alleged exchange appears to follow standard procedures followed by staff as outlined in an internal memo. The memo, which was obtained by the celebrity gossip site TMZ, they pronounce ZZ, Americans, they pronounce ZZ rather, published 2007, described how Copperfield would scan the audience and pick women he thought had potential for future projects. You know, it's quite standard for magicians to pick usually an attractive woman out of an audience, maybe a plant, you know. Some of these magic tricks require participation. The member instructed staff to give the women questionnaires and take Polaroids and tell them about Copperfield's Islands in the Bahamas, plural now, Copperfield's Islands in the Bahamas, and how they might have opportunities to do marketing work there. In special cases, the member suggests Copperfield would seek to speak to the prospects about their possibilities privately. Going back to Carroll. In the lawsuit, Carroll said her family was not allowed to accompany her when she went backstage to meet Copperfield. Copperfield and Carroll began to exchange phone calls, with Carroll ultimately being invited to the island. It's all about her lawsuit here. In a 2009 civil lawsuit, Carroll described her journey from Seattle to Smallfire Island, and claimed once she got there, no one else was in attendance, apart from Copperfield and some of his staff. No one else. So it's semantics they play. No one else except Copperfield and some of his staff, you know. Copperfield allegedly told her more people would arrive the next day. That night, they took a dinner, and then began to watch the movie on Copperfield when Carroll alleged Copperfield attacked and raped her with a dildo. Carroll said in the lawsuit that she physically and verbally resisted and struggled to get away. Carroll claimed she tried to call her family and boyfriend, but was unable to reach them on her mobile phone. She never reached her boyfriend using a house phone, but was interrupted during the call when Copperfield entered her room, she said. I mean, the next day, according to her lawsuit, Copperfield ordered Carroll to get naked on Copperfield's private beach, and when she refused, he held her head underwater, causing her to fear she would drown. I mean, there's all this stuff here. Nicholas Schwerin, a contractor who worked for Copperfield at the time, who called me on a plane with Carroll as she returned home, said he was later questioned by the authorities. In an interview with The Guardian, he said her head was faced out the window the whole time. What I thought about that was she was well dressed and definitely upset. Schwerin said, I think she was crying, not sobbing. I think she was crying, not sobbing. She went for a rape kit, underwent a medical examination. Lawyers for Copperfield didn't answer the Guardian's questions about whether he had sex with Carroll. A gentleman never tells. It's not clear if the kit was ever tested or what the results of the test were. Yeah. I mean, this is, one of perhaps the most famous magician in the world. And I mean, if there'd been any truth in this, they would have nailed him. The police, the FBI, what a catch that would be. The FBI investigation, this is poorly phrased this. The FBI investigation, I think that should be a title. The FBI investigation. One of the 16 women who alleged that Copperfield engaged in sexual misconduct and inappropriate behaviour remembers when she first heard the news on television, sometime around 2008, that the illusionist was under criminal investigation. When she heard Copperfield's lawyer denying Carroll's allegations, she got in touch with the FBI and made a statement. She was not the only one. The Guardian's talked to 4 other people who say they spoke to the FBI after Carroll's allegations against Copperfield became public. They include Brittany Lewis, who alleged that Copperfield drugged and sexually assaulted her, was detailed by the Guardian on Thursday. Lewis said she contacted the FBI after she saw the news about Carol's allegations. A friend of Lewis's at the time spoke to the Guardian on the condition of anonymity. Said she also talked with the FBI to corroborate Lewis's account. Lawyers of Copperfield denied Lewis's allegations. Another individual who contacted the FBI told the Guardian that years earlier he had heard that 2 women believed they were being drugged by Copperfield before he had sex with them. The individual told the Guardian he shared the name of one of the women, Gillian something, with the FBI. Gillian's allegations, which were denied by Copperfield's lawyers, were reported to the Guardian on Wednesday. Gillian told the Guardian she was never contacted by the FBI. And as a US prosecutor at the time said in court filing, the federal investigators had collected more than 300 witness statements over the course of its investigation. And this is from PerezHilton.com. He's a Hollywood gossip columnist, I suppose you call him. Other women said their interactions with Copperfield were more involved. In many cases, he promised to help them with modelling and other show business careers as a way to keep in touch with them or shudder their parents. A 15-year-old girl told the outlet she met the magician at his show in 1991 and he got her number. In front of her parents? She says he started calling her at night and sent her gifts and tickets to see him. Eventually they had sex, her first time when she was 18. It was consensual, but she now believes she was groomed. That's certainly what it sounds like to us. I mean, seriously, not as I need to repeat this, but blokes like Copperfield, any celebrity, especially someone that talented, but any businessman, any powerful politician, anyone in that field, they are magnets for these sort of allegations. And you know, a lot of the time they haven't even met their accusers. I mean, I just feel this is the Guardian put so much effort into this, and my own reasons for distrusting the Guardian, which have nothing to do with sex. And the people who run it, well, Jessica Valenti used to write for the Guardian, and she's a total, well, total. I'll put a link to one of my articles about her. Anyway, that's David Copperfield. I should point out that another very talented magician, David Blaine, has been accused of rape by more than one woman, and he was one, I think, one in London, at least one in London, and he was cleared. It's, you know, when these allegations are backdated. As for Lacey Carroll, I don't believe a word of it. These women are, you know, they're beneath contempt, basically. Anyway, that's magicians. Kevin Spacey's back in the news. This is a report from Deadline.com, May the 7th. Kevin Spacey to stand trial again in UK over civil sexual assault claim. That was early next year, that will be. So Spacey will face a civil trial after being sued by a man who allegedly sexually assaulted him, according to Variety. Spacey gave a long interview to his fellow homo Dan Wooten, and one of the things he produced there was a cheque for his first accuser. Well, for the lawyer for his first accuser. Now, these men are even more pathetic than women. Spacey told Deadline, quote, "This is not a new lawsuit. As has been widely reported, it's the same lawsuit brought in 2022 by a complainant that was not believed." Who was not believed? I hate it when people say that. Who was not believed by a jury of my peers in the 2023 UK criminal trial in which I was acquitted. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be allowed. And this guy is anonymous, you know. The trial will take place early next year. The man has been granted anonymity by the court, claims he suffered psychiatric damage and other financial loss as a result of the alleged sexual assault. I'm sorry, no. They should not be allowed to sue anonymously in civil court. I mean, I can understand a case for it in criminal trials, but not in a civil case now. And I would hope that Spacey or someone would leak this lowlife's name. Something entirely different now. This is a case which has been in my files for a long time. I won't be adding it to the full scope timeline, but concerns a man named Jack Mount, who was a schoolmaster, not an ordinary school, and he stood trial something like 5 times for sexual and physically abusive pupils from the 1950s. And last time he was brought to trial at the age of 90. Well, I think he was charged at the age of 95. At the age of 97, it was decided that the trial couldn't go ahead because of his mental condition. He died at the age of 100, and of course, once he's dead, they can say anything they like about him. There's a long report by the BBC. I corresponded with this journalist, who I think was the journalist who wrote this, Rebecca Woods. Yeah, I said, where was the evidence? And she said there was physical evidence. Well, if there had been evidence of sexual abuse, he would have been tried and almost certainly convicted. It was the allegations here were so bizarre, and I think in the end his own daughter turned against him. But this was a boarding school for, I think, kids who are not. West Mercia Police commenced the latest investigation in 2012, reviewing previous investigations, including one in 1999 and the cases in the 1970s. I mean, it's just. I went to boarding school. I actually had 2 boarding schools. I went to. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I was a bit older than the boys in my dormitory. I was at East Quinton School for about a year and a bit, I suppose. And then they sent me to another school which was, I didn't spend long there. I said, I want to come home. I don't want to stay with anyone. It was a horrible place with horrible people. But I was certainly East Quinton because I had a lung condition, a weak lung, and was born with a slight heart murmur. And teachers were female staff as well, about 45, 50 kids there, all boys. And there was never any. The nearest there was anything sexual was in a dormitory one night, and there were 5 or 6 kids that were daring each other, and one of them was to lick a certain part of this kid's anatomy, and this kid did. I remember his name. I won't name him now. And they all laughed. But this wasn't a silly sexual thing. It's just stupid things boys do. But there were staff who were, you couldn't talk back to staff. It was strict. I actually had 6 of the best there, which was a good thing actually. But I don't believe any of these things about sexual abuse. If there's anything sexual, it may be boys doing stupid things with other boys. But even then, that incident wasn't. I remember that it's half a century ago, nearly, and I remember it as though it was yesterday. But it's just stupid things kids do. No doubt girls do similar things. But Jack Mount, the allegations were so bizarre, and you thought there would have been some physical evidence. He was tried again and again and again, and just have a look at this BBC page. He was found not guilty of 3 rapes and 1 indecent assault related to 2 girls in the 1950s and 60s. He was acquitted of 2 charges of buggery and 6 indecent assaults in the 60s and 70s. The jury was unable to reach verdicts on 3 counts of indecent assault, 1 of gross indecency, 1 of attempted buggery. Prosecutors wished to retry Mr. Mount on these charges, as well as counts related to further complaints in the 3rd trial. I just keep trying again and again until they get the verdict they want. Well, I mean, I can't rule out that there was no sexual abuse there. I think there may have been physical abuse, but you know, in the 60s when I was growing up, it was a different world. You know, if you talk back to adults, you get slapped around the head. Women, you know, if you got lipping with a woman in the street, you get your head slapped, or whatever, you know. And it was a different world. But sexual abuse, I was assaulted a few times by adults. What today would be considered assaults, but in those days, sexual assaults, no. I mean, I was propositioned once by, definitely once, by 2 of us were fishing by the Grand Union Canal by some young pervert on a bike. But you know, at least, I mean, this is, I don't believe this universal rape stuff. You know, it's just, it's too risky for one thing, and I think most rapists do get caught. I don't believe any of this garbage of the feminist movement. I think most rapists are brought to book at some point. Right, an entirely different subject. Ashley Biden's diary. It's been claimed that, well, it's been confirmed now that in her diary, the daughter of the man who's currently inhabiting the White House, if he'd called him the president, claimed or seems to suggest that she showered with him when she was young. I've said this before. I mean, the way the FBI and what's been called Biden's Gestapo have acted over this, the girl who found the diary has been sent to jail. She didn't steal it; she found it, and I mean, there's been attempts to suppress it. James O'Keefe, they raided James O'Keefe. The Ashley Biden is you know, she had substance abuse problems. Oh my God. dear. She's had substance abuse problems, and my view is, I mean, the entries, you know, I don't think Joe Biden is a paedophile. He's certainly a weird habit of sniffing girls' hair, and he's not the sort of man I want hanging around my grandkids if I had any. But this, as I said before, this is a case, I think, of childhood amnesia and confabulation caused by years of substance abuse. So I wouldn't pay any attention to it. It's not pretty disgusting, but there are lots of things far more serious things to condemn Biden for, like destroying America, the open border, everything like that. I wouldn't make anything of it, you know. I'm certainly not including. I'm not including it on the timeline, and I'm not going to comment on it again, because it's just a woman who's, you know, she comes from a highly dysfunctional family, corrupt family, and I wouldn't take any, you know. Was I molested? I think so. No, well, no. Sorry, no. And this is a rather amusing one. This is the Manchester Evening News. Rebecca Jones, police slam incredibly disappointing comments after predator teacher is convicted. Rebecca Joins, Police slam incredibly disappointing comments after predator teacher is convicted. Joins 30 groomed 2 pupils for sex who she met while working at a Greater Manchester school. Shouldn't that be whom she met? Police have slammed some incredibly disappointing comments in the wake of the conviction of sexual predator teacher. Yeah. I mean, so she got pregnant with by one of her victims. Yeah. The forces now to switch off replies to the post. Incredibly disappointing comments. A spokesman for Greater Manchester Police said replies would be removed out of respect for the victims. I'm sure they're victims. Yeah. I mean, when I was 14, there was a couple of my teachers I used to fantasise about. They really, I mean, this is this is the downside of sexual equality for women, anyway. So, you know, the idea that this is comparable to a male teacher grooming underage girls is no. Sorry, no. So Rebecca Joins is off to jail. She'll be sentenced in July. Found guilty of 4 counts of sexual activity with a child and 2 counts of sexual activity with a child by a person in a position of trust. I mean, this. What else can I say? Now, this is one to watch out for. This is from EDP24. It's the Daily Press, their website. 17th of May. Thousands of police officers specially trained to investigate rape. What does that mean? The Home Secretary has vowed to put more sex offenders behind bars after thousands of police officers were specially trained in investigating rapes. Really? This is, I mean, when they talk about special training, do they mean training or feminist indoctrination? He said that the target was another significant milestone in efforts to transform the way the criminal justice system deals with rape and sexual offences. I mean, I just wonder what this means. You know, it's there were 2,558 prosecutions last year for rape, up 44%. In 2023, 636 convictions and 627 sentences for adult rape were recorded. I mean, there's so much rubbish that's written about this subject. Basically, feminists want more convictions and they don't care how they get them. The Victims Commissioner for England and Wales, Baroness Newlove, said the number of officers being specially trained was a positive step towards a more supportive criminal justice system for victims of rape and sexual assault. Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a bad development, especially putting the College of Policing in charge of it. Those clowns with their non-crime hate incidents. Right, just one more. A Nepalese cricketer by the name of Sandeep Lamakain was convicted of rape and given an 8-year sentence. He's just had that conviction overturned. Unfortunately, I can't find any substantial reports on this in English at the moment. It was meant to have raped a woman in an hotel. It's amazing how many women get raped in hotels, isn't it? Anyway, I'll look out for the appeal judgment. I might add that, depending on what I make of it, I might add that to the timeline. I have a feeling alcohol was involved. Anyway, I'll get this edited and uploaded to my second YouTube account, a dedicated Force Work account, where I might get 3 views in a week if I'm lucky. and then later I'll put it on BitChute and eventually on the Internet Archive.